Om Prithvi Shantirantariksha Shantir Dyav Shantir Disha Shantiravantara Disha Shantiragni Shantir Vayu Shantiraditya Shantish Chandrama Shantir Nakshatrani Shantirapa Shantiroshadaya Shantir Vanaspataya Shantir Gau Shantiraja Shantirashva Shantir Purusha Shantir Brahma Shantir Brahmana Shantir Shantireva Shanti Shantirme Astu Shantihi. May there be peace on earth and in the sky. May there be peace in the water and in all directions. May there be peace in the plants, in the trees, and in animals. May there be peace in the hearts of all beings. May there be peace in everyone and in everything. Sarvetra sukhinas santu, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet, sarvastaratu durgani, sarvo bhadrani pashyatu. Sarvas sadbuddhimapnotu, sarvas sarvatra nandatu. May all be happy and healthy, may all see what is good, and may no one experience misery. May all overcome their obstacles and acquire good tendencies. May people everywhere find joy and fulfillment. Let us now spend some time touching the center of peace and joy in our hearts. A good way to begin the practice is to withdraw the scattered energies of the mind and bring them to rest on one point. That point can be our own breathing. Let us therefore practice breathing with awareness. As we breathe in, let us visualize that our body and mind are being filled with love, strength, and compassion. And as we breathe out, let us release all the stress, anxiety, and exhaustion in the body and mind. Let us practice this way for a while. Let us now turn our attention to the region of our heart. Although God is present everywhere and in everyone, the divine presence can be felt most clearly in our own hearts. We can meditate in any way we have been taught. To remain focused, we can take the help of a short mental prayer or a mantra or a divine name. Let us now spend some time dwelling on the presence of God in our hearts. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om.
We will sing 6 stanzas on Nirvana, which is the translation of Nirvana Shastra on the last page of your book.
It's my great joy today to welcome Swami Kripamayanandaji. He is the head of the Vedanta Society in Toronto. Many of you have had a chance to hear him before. He has been a close friend and a brother monk for many years. In fact, all Swami Yogatmanandaji, Swami Kripamayanandaji and myself, we were together in the monastic training college in the early 80s in Belur. So it's always a great joy for brother monks to come together. I'm very happy and grateful to Yogatmanandaji for bringing Swami Kripamananda today, this morning from Providence. For those of you who will be hearing Swami Kripamanandaji for the first time, he is a senior monk of the order. And as I've already said, a very dear friend. He has been in Canada now for close to 20 years?
14 years.
14. He's been here for 14 years. And Toronto is the only official center of the order in Canada. So while I have a relatively small area to take care of, he has this whole Canada to take care of. So he does a lot of traveling and has been teaching Vedanta to a large section of people, to our northern neighbors. And so I'm very happy that Swami Kripamanandaji is with us, and he'll be speaking with us today on the important subject, how to live Vedanta. So beyond studying and hearing about it, how do we actually live it in day-to-day practice? So please welcome Swami Kripamananda.
Good morning, friends. So nice to see, to be at the Boston Center again. It's like a pilgrimage for us. We remember meeting Swami Sarvagatanandaji when I came first in 2008 here. And that time it was my first invitation to US. Is from Yogatmanandaji and from Tyaganandaji. From Canada I came, and it was so nice to see the land first time. And it was the Boston and Providence. That was my first visit to the US in my life. And again to be here is so joyful, and I'm really thankful to Swami Yogatmanandaji and Swami Tyaganandaji for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to be with you all today. Today's topic is how to live Vedanta. As Swamiji said, Vedanta is a philosophy, somebody say, and you need to hear. The Vedanta is first says, Sravana Manana Nididhyasana. You hear, then you ponder upon it, and then meditate on it. That is the traditional way Vedanta is supposed to, for understanding. But it goes beyond that. We have to live Vedanta, otherwise only understanding Vedanta, how will it is going to help. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, some people have heard of milk, others have seen it, but the real person is that who drinks it and gets strength from it. That is the real knowing of milk. It will be useful for that person. Similarly, Vedanta will be useful if we live Vedanta. Vedanta is such a wonderful philosophy and religion, and it's also a way of life. It just promises us to live in the world, being friends to all, and yet not to be caught by the world. Detached, yet loving, friendly, and peace and joy, it promises this human life. As we are listening to the chant, hymns by Shankaracharya, he said this Shankaracharya in another place, Viveka Chudamani, he says, human life is very precious, and we get human life by the grace of God. And if in the human life we want not only just to live in the world, but if we can take it as for the realization of truth, mumukshutva, for in fact attaining freedom, total absolute independence, that becomes really worth living. And for that purpose is the human life. Just being born, live for some time and then die, it becomes the whatever potency was given to us, whatever wealth was given to us, it remains misutilized, underutilized, unutilized if we don't try to live Vedanta. So Vedanta believes in the divinity of soul and oneness of existence. Human life itself is sacred and is meant for the attainment and experience and expression of that oneness. Therefore, to live Vedanta, we need to live an integrated life where our thoughts, words, and actions should be in harmony within us, and we live in harmony with the whole world. Vedanta is the system of the perfect life. It believes in the power of wisdom and guides us to the life of freedom. Freedom is the goal of Vedantic way of life, and in freedom alone is the supreme joy. Therefore, to live Vedanta, we need to live a simple life and to integrate it in life the values which makes us true human beings. So what are the values that we need to live if we want to live Vedanta? The Vedanta, Swami Vivekananda says, it's a message of strength. Vedanta does not recognize weakness and sin. Vedanta doesn't recognize impurity. It says strength, purity, courage, immortality. Those are the basic teachings of Vedanta. If we live Vedanta, we have to be strong. And strength is so much emphasized in the scriptures that it says one cannot realize truth without strength. Nayam atma balahinena lavya. This atma, it cannot be understood, realized by a weak person. We need strength. Swami Vivekananda said, what type of strength? Strength in all faculties of our life. Body, mind, and spirit. All have to be strong if you want to lead a Vedantic life, a life of realization of truth. And strength comes from that knowledge that I am the soul. That is the basic, that I am the divine. That is another basic of Vedanta. Though I seem to be just a human being of small size, limited in time, space, but in fact, I am not that what I think of myself. I am much more greater and glorious than what the world says and what I have, through ignorance, been thinking of myself. This limited being. I am unlimited, strong being that is capable of doing anything and everything in life, even to realize God, to go beyond all this, we call Maya. Maya is something that holds us and to makes us feel that we are a part of this creation that comes into being, stays for some time, and again it dissolves or there is destruction. But Vedanta will say, that is not really you. You are the spirit of strength. All strength is within you. So try to manifest that strength. Never be afraid of anything. So Vedanta will totally remove us fear from our heart. So if we are afraid of anything, then we are not living Vedanta. What we are afraid of? We are afraid of insecurity in life, the changes in life, the disease, death, that are all pertaining to this body. And Vedanta says body is that you are not the body. Body is your instrument, so that you work in the world, live a life, and ultimately reach the goal of life, that is to realize yourself as the self, as the Atman. So to that, this human life is important, and you have to wear this ocean of this ignorance, which tries to make you always think that I am this body. And body becomes very pertinent and important when this body becomes weak. It is said that strong body is master, and strong body becomes your servant, and weak body becomes your master. Weak body starts commanding you, do this for me, you can't do that, it becomes like that. But when you're strong in body, you can use it as you like. So strength of body is very much important in Vedanta. Strength of mind. how mind becomes weak when we don't have self-confidence. We feel, oh, perhaps we are not able to do that. Perhaps I am losing the thing. Perhaps I am not capable. I am not fit for that thing. That all comes because we don't have tremendous faith in something that is beyond mind, which gives energy and power to the mind. And that thing is called Atman, or the self, which is divine. The very word divine means it is capable of doing everything. It's so powerful that it can do anything. We sometimes feel, oh, I am impure, perhaps I have not realized that. But again, we forget our Atman, which is ever pure. No impurity can touch the Atman forever. So when we try to think of the Atman, our true divine self, strength comes out. We become strong in mind, strong. We feel the strength even in body. Whatever body is there, as a rule, body becomes old, energy level gets lower, and we feel we are not as strong as we were in our youthful days. But that will also not make us low in our mind. We'll be strong, and we will make that body work as much possible for that time. And we will just be observing the changes of the body, and we know that body has to go through all the things. This knowledge that body will always change, it will become old and it will die. And what dies is this body, which is a part of nature, and I am the master of this body. This knowledge itself gives us tremendous strength. So this strength is the real message of Vedanta. Swami Vivekananda, that's why he told that if you want to be strong, so first don't read the Gita. To youth, he said, first play the soccer. That was a very popular game in India. So one monk saying, you don't need to read Gita but play soccer. So what can be that? She said, by playing soccer, your muscles will be strong, nerves will be strong. And with the strength you have gained, then when you read Gita, then you can understand Gita. Otherwise, weak mind, weak person, if he reads Gita, it will be totally different meaning that person will bring. So to understand the scriptures, you need the strength of body and mind. Only then you will understand Gita. So that's why this strength Swami Vivekananda very much said. And he said, where is the source of his strength? Naturally, it is in our own soul, in our own being, in our own core. But who will say that you are that divine? Who says that? From where that knowledge comes? We have not realized that. That knowledge comes from the scriptures. And the scriptures, the basic scriptures of Vedanta are called Upanishads. It's a part of the Vedas, culmination of the Vedas, Vedanta. So Upanishads, Swami Vivekananda says, are the mines of strength. How can there be strength, so much strength in book? Because when we read Upanishads, then we find that, oh, this I am the divine self, and that understanding gives us so much strength, then we can really tackle the world. And we can transcend the limitation that we often try to think by our identification or misidentification with the body itself. Thinking myself as body and mind complex is ignorance. And understanding myself as the Atman is knowledge. With that knowledge comes strength. And to be strong is the way we can live Vedanta. First, we have to give up the weakness. And we have to have tremendous courage. And this weakness also comes until we have realized the soul. There is the realization of God, you see. There is God. And when we become pure and we have connection, then we feel that there is God who is always to help us. And we feel close to God, and the strength comes from God. Until we realize our soul itself is God. Where is that God? God is not somewhere sitting above the cloud. God is very much residing within our hearts. He is the soul of our souls. So as the soul of our soul, this God is so close to us. So if we sometimes feel that, oh, this weakness comes, then comes the prayer. Oh Lord, be with me. See that I could do that. Tremendous strength comes. Those who believe in God are more fortunate and more strength than those who deny the existence of God. So they have to totally depend on themselves. Human body and mind is not capable of having that much strength without the support from outside. So this support from outside comes from the feeling that God resides in me as my soul. God is ultimate, is divine. So until we realize that Brahman and Jiva are same, God and the soul are same, till then we have to focus on God for our help, to gain the strength to fight the world. How to fight the world? What is the fighting with the world? When the world throws the negative impulses on us, negative things on us. One beautiful story is there. There was a pole and there were many frogs. And the frogs, many small frogs were trying to climb the top of the pole. And many frogs went there, it was a competition. And there were others sitting around, the elderly ones. They said, oh, the pole is too tall and they cannot climb really in that pole. And they were trying to climb. I said, no, it's too tall, it's too big a task for you. And one by one, all dropped down. But only one was there, it was going up. And then they were saying, oh, this much, not much, all have fallen down, all could not go. It's too much a big task for that. We also couldn't do, you also can never do that. But that little frog, it goes up to the top and then comes down. And then all who were participating, all they said, how could you go up? What gave you so much strength and courage? Then when they was asking, he was not responding. Then someone said, oh, that frog is deaf. It can't hear. That all your negative things, it didn't listen at all. So because you couldn't put it down, world often does that to us. It says, oh, you can't do that. It is not possible for you to do that. It is too huge a task. And we, listening to that, we forget our own strength, that we are divine, that is forgotten. And when we could say to ourselves and not listen to the world, that is how is tackling this world. When we find negative thoughts, negative ideas coming to that, we need to still fight with double and not listen to those. I am divine, it is said in the scriptures. It is said by the people who have realized the truth that there is tremendous power within us. We can do anything and everything. It is not said by some theoretical. It is all proven, done. And there is so much opportunity to change if someone is not able to understand that, how the strength comes. Sometimes people get some bad habits, get addicted to something, and they are not able to give up that. One in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, those who have read, you have read about Girish Ghosh. Girish Ghosh was a bohemian life. Life was not very good. He didn't live. He was doing the theater and all that. And he was in a drinking habit, too much drunken he used to become. But he had a wish that he tries to give up that. He also had a very intelligent person, very good writer, original thoughts, wonderful drama. He was the topmost dramatist of his time in Kolkata when there were no film sets. So that was the main entertainment, like you find the actors and the directors nowadays in the Hollywood movie. He was like that in the city of Kolkata, in the whole of India. He was quite popular. And because of this habit that had been imposed, somehow he took it. So somehow he came in contact with Sri Ramakrishna. And coming in contact with Sri Ramakrishna, who was embodiment of energy and joy. And he used to be in bliss. And his goal was to how to redeem people, how to save them and how to take them to show them who you are. And Sri Ramakrishna had gone to see the theater, and he met the director, this Girish Ghosh, and came in touch. Somehow there was linking up between these two. Girish Ghosh liked. Why did he like? He saw tremendous love in Sri Ramakrishna. What attracted to Sri Ramakrishna was his love. Because, when one lives Vedanta, then what manifests most is love. Love is the unifying factor, and Vedanta is all about oneness. If you don't feel oneness with everyone and everything, you are yet to live Vedanta. So Sri Ramakrishna had that feeling of oneness, and love just came out from him. This person who was not a religious person at all, Sri Ramakrishna was a priest in the temple, and he had just becoming popular as a saint. He came in contact and started visiting Sri Ramakrishna. When he visited this mine of strength and hope, he gradually started transforming himself. And what was the connection? Again, love. Sri Ramakrishna loved him, Sri Ramakrishna loved everyone. And here what happened, this Girish Ghosh started loving Sri Ramakrishna. This saint is very pure. This saint is something, I find in him so much attraction. So he started visiting them, and Sri Ramakrishna's association slowly molded him. Then he found out what Vedanta is, where is the real strength. And he said real strength is, Sri Ramakrishna is not ordinary person, he is embodiment of Vedanta, embodiment of strength and love and hope. And that molded his life. And towards the end of his life, he lived like a saint. All his bad habits were all gone. But what he says, he says, if I knew that I'll meet Sri Ramakrishna in my life, I could have done so many other bad things, because all I could overcome by the strength of my association with Sri Ramakrishna. That is finding a God-realized person. That is finding one who can really transform us. And that is where this Vedanta says, you meet. When we try to do that, a little of this, and by some providence we find such teachers, we find such guides, we find God sends us. When Sri Ramakrishna had practiced all sadhana, and he had the vision of Divine Mother, and he started seeing Divine Mother in all. And to live in bliss, for him the whole world was divinized. One day one person comes, monk, and he seeing Sri Ramakrishna, he says, do you want to learn Vedanta? Till then he didn't learn Vedanta. He had listened to the Vedanta, but he had not practiced Vedanta. So he said, I don't know, I have to ask to my mother. And he said, go to mother. He went to the temple. This person was Totapuri and was a very Vedantin. He said, where is going to the temple to ask to a stone statue person? So he found that. But how did he recognize that Sri Ramakrishna is able to learn Vedanta, to realize the ultimate truth, to realize the formless aspect of God, to realize the Brahman, all-pervading, infinite, immortal, blissful Brahman? How did he realize that? Because he saw in Sri Ramakrishna something is there. And when Sri Ramakrishna started teaching, Divine Mother gave permission, and Divine Mother says, that was the point I wanted to say, that it is for you I have brought this teacher to you. It is for you. So when we start moving in right direction, we find so much help. And that, unfortunately, is the case when we start moving in wrong direction also. When we start moving in wrong direction, then all negative things comes and say, go that way. Unless we are able to discern, so this is not the right thing I am doing. That our intellect has to say, somehow this is not the right thing I should be doing. Right thing is to go in the right direction. You say, and you start moving in the right direction, and then comes all the help to take you in that way. Vedanta says, enjoy. Vedanta doesn't deny us to enjoy the world, but it says enjoy through renunciation. How is that? Not enjoy through renunciation. Tena tyaktena bhunjitha. What this renunciation means, very wrongly understood word, as if renunciation means you are not connected with anything and you don't have any joy of life you can have, like that idea comes. But renunciation doesn't mean that. Renunciation is not to be caught by the world, and yet you utilize it. Like they were saying about the nature, what this nature is, how to utilize. They say you can milk the nature, you can use the nature, but you cannot exploit the nature. If you exploit the nature, you will not survive, because you are a part of this nature. Exploiting and destroying nature is destroying your own human existence. So, but no problem in using it, utilizing it, milking it. Like that, this world is in front of us. So little enjoyments of life, you definitely do, but you are not allowed to caught by this world. So limited understanding, how much should I do and how much shouldn't I do. I enjoy ice cream, suppose. So there is no harm in having one scoop of ice cream. But if you want, I'm not satisfied with one scoop, I want whole brick, I want whole bucket of ice cream, it's so tasty, then there becomes a problem. That thing we have to renounce, that whole bucket of ice cream. Other thing to renounce is not to be dependent on the things of the world. We often become dependent on the things of the world. Morning cup of coffee. Many of us are habituated. In the morning, I need coffee just before going to office. So somehow, if I don't get that coffee, it makes sad, frustrated, that feeling of losing something, the whole day becomes bad. Then you realize, why I was so frustrated that day? I didn't have a coffee that morning. This is dependence on small things. What renunciation does, it makes you free from any dependence. It makes you independent. Having a cup of coffee, when it is available, it's not against renunciation at all. But renunciation is that. So Vedanta says, enjoy the world, but enjoy through renunciation. Have self-control and don't mind if you don't get the thing. Our General Secretary was there, Swami Vandananandaji. We were in training center together. One day he came, he was General Secretary of our order, the highest executive of our order. He came to the training center and gave a talk, and I remember his saying, try to be always feel that kuch parwa nahi ji, I don't mind. He says, always say to yourself, I don't mind. So what you don't mind? If you don't get anything, I don't mind that. It won't bog me down. I'm capable of doing that without this thing also. Have that strength and that renunciation. That is the way you live Vedanta. You live Vedanta is living in joy. Vedanta promises joy. Swami Vivekananda used to say, if you are a person practicing religion, religious person, and you are keeping very sad and long face, you may have stomach ache, but you are not practicing religion. Religion should give you joy. It should give you happiness. It should bubble up from outside. The joy we feel, that the halo shone around the saint's head, we so often do, that saint has the halo around it. What is that halo? That halo is the joy that comes from the person who is divine in nature, who realize God, who lives in God, who lives Vedanta. Living in God and living Vedanta is the same thing. Vedanta says, as I said, detachment. Renunciation and detachment are almost same. Detachment is not totally being with the people. Vedanta doesn't say you have to get detached from this world and go to the forest, retire there, and live a life of meditation. Always try to think you are Brahman and have no connection with the world. No, that is not the Vedanta of Ramakrishna. Vivekananda didn't teach that Vedanta. They said, you have to be detached from the world, but yet you relate with that. You have your family, your children, your parents, everyone. You deal with them, but yet not be attached to any one of them. And also expect that they are not attached to you. You are detached mentally. How do we get detached that way? And yet we love everyone, we serve everyone, we enjoy the company of everyone, and yet be detached. How is that possible? That is possible when we think that this is all the gift of God, that God has given me so nice family, so beautiful children, wonderful parents where I was born. It was all by the grace of God. And my connection is to God. God was so kind to me that He gave me wonderful people around me, and it is a blissful life that I lived, that I am having. If you have that type of feeling, and you know that everyone is connected to God, everyone is a gift of God, and not having the possession. This is my son, this is my parent, this is my house, that thing, if my thing goes away, this I and mine, this creates attachment. When we put everything as belonging to me and me alone, that creates possession. House where I live, is that my house or not? It is a house in the name of the person which is given to this me. But it is not really my house. It is a house that given by God for me to live in and be there. But then whose house is that? Oh, it is a house of the nature, house of the city. It belongs to city, belongs to nature. It is a part of nature, but it doesn't belong to me, in fact. Because, the house you say today and you decorate and all that, after you become old, you move to other place. You move from detached house to a condominium so that you don't have to work and clean ice and live happily. Then whose house was that? Really, that was not your house. So, this idea of I and mine itself is attachment. When you say it belongs to the nature, it is city's property, nothing is there. What belongs to me? Belongs to me is the joy of being with my friendly people, with colleagues, with devotees, with my family. It's also wonderful, and being thankful to God for giving me all these things. Living Vedanta is living in harmony with all. And as we can be very friendly to everyone. Even those who are unfriendly to us, we can be friendly to them. Because we may feel that they are unfriendly because they have some problem in their mind or in their behavior. Something is wrong. But why should I be wrong? So I can be friendly to him. How to be friendly? You don't go and mix and be with him. It may irritate him or her. So how do? You pray for that person. You have an empathy for that person. He is also one of me. The whole world is God. It's all Brahman. It's all my own self that appears as this world and human beings and the nature and everything is my own self. That's what the Vedanta says. Vedanta says, it says in the Upanishad, it said, you are the boy that is, I can see, you are the girl, you are the man, you are the woman, and even the old man that is walking with the staff, that also are you, O Lord. Everywhere the same sighted vision. It's all God in different forms that live as the human beings, as different creatures, as the plants, as the star, moons. It is all that God has become. And that God, who is that God? My own true self has become all this, because ultimate Brahman and myself are inseparable. So by that way, we live in harmony, not only with myself, my body and mind and my thought, being of same thought and same word and same action. This is harmony within myself, and being friendly to all, that is harmony with the nature. So this harmony, a person who lives Vedanta will be living in harmony with all. Swami Vivekananda said, you want to worship God? Where do you search God? God is in front of you. And beautiful poem he read to a friend, one poem he wrote. And in that poem, at the end of the last poem, it's a long poem, it says, where are you searching God, oh my friend? He is in front of you. Can't you see him in many forms, varied forms that are in front of you? And Swami Vivekananda later on described, where do you go to the temple, search God? You have the temple in front of you. This human body is the temple of God, where God resides. If you can't see the whole human being as God, at least try to feel that God resides in his heart. The power, the life force that comes through that human being is nothing but God. And human being is the best temple of God. And he says, he had seen Taj Mahal before he came to the West, and he liked Taj Mahal very much. That's our icon of India, you see, it's landmark of India. So, and he said Taj Mahal is such a beautiful structure that is made in the medieval time and by Shah Jahan, that to study it and really understand what is the thing is to really understand the beauty of Taj Mahal, one needs 6 months to study there. He said that. He was very much impressed. And Taj Mahal is one of the beautiful structures that is been created in this world. And he said, human body is the Taj Mahal of temples. That's one of the most beautiful temple of God is the human body. And where do you go to search God? The person you see, there resides the Lord. That's what Swami Vivekananda used to say. And trying to see all others as our own self, when we start seeing other as my own self in different form. This being and this being are same. I remember Swami Sarvagatanandaji's, in fact, Kumar, his disciple, he lives in Toronto. He's a professor in the university. He loves Boston and Providence very much. And he said that Sarvagatanandaji once said in talk that when there is pickpocket in the bus or wherever you are going, you found that you have been pickpocketed. Your wallet has been taken away by thing. Don't be disturbed by that. Just think that the money that we are using in this pocket now will be used in that pocket. But it's the same, doesn't matter at all. This pocket and that pocket, between this and that, it doesn't matter. That type of thought comes when we live Vedanta. We don't feel distinction. Nothing can really disturb your peace of mind. Nothing can disturb peace of mind. That's how our Swami Pramathanandaji, I was talking yesterday, that when he was told that he has cancer, for few seconds only he was little quiet. He didn't know he was sick. Pramathanandaji was my predecessor, very wonderful monk, a very tremendously loving monk. And when it was said that you have cancer, he kept quiet. And there were some attendants, they also heard that. And after a few seconds, Swamiji said, oh, make the food warm, we have to eat and do the things. And they said, perhaps Swamiji didn't hear what the doctor said, that life is only for a few months. He's going to die in few months. How he can be so happy and as if nothing has happened? So they came to him, they were very sad and said, Swamiji, did you hear what doctor said? Yes, I have heard it is cancer and the life is only not even 6 months. But what does that matter? Cancer is such a wonderful disease. My Lord had cancer, had passed with the same disease, and that is given to me. What gracious thing can be there more? You see, they are not afraid of anything. Nothing can disturb who lives in Vedanta, to the person who lives in Vedanta. So powerful strength this thought of Vedanta gives. This body will go, but I am immortal. I am blissful, I am ever living, I will not die, nothing can kill me. I am deathless. This knowledge itself gives Vedanta, and we have to live Vedanta. Only reading in the book and listening or talking, for me also it is the same. I also will have to live Vedanta to understand this. Before coming here, I was a little nervous. What will I talk to you? You see, you are so learned people, and Tyagananda gives so beautiful talk. We listen his talk in podcast. That is our thing. We get knowledge from his talk. And I will talk to you who know so much. Perhaps all will fall asleep. And what could I do? I was a little nervous and praying to Holy Mother. Mother, do something. And you see, prayer works that I can see from you. None of you are sleeping. That's one great joy for me. There is no stuff in my talking. But still, you are all awake, listening, laughing, smiling. It's so beautiful. I have the feeling that's the grace of God. That's where I need to practice that you can do. Yes, I can. Our ex-president used to say, that's all Vedantic message. Yes, I can is a Vedantic message. That's where we practice Vedanta. That's not just saying that we have to practice in life. Vedanta also tries to control the greed. And why not to greed? Because this wealth belongs to the nature. Nothing is yours. When we go, all bank balance remains here. All stock market remains here. Nothing goes with us. It is of the nature, it remains here. So do not have any greed for any wealth. That's what the Upanishad says. Don't have greed. Whatever makes you alive, a decent life, have that much money. You don't have to accumulate lot of billions of dollars. Oh, that person has become billionaire, I have to reach that. That will be going against the against the way of Vedanta. Let them have who want that. They will have in time understand. That's what Swami Vivekananda talked, Rockefeller. You see, this charity, giving something when people need it, this sharing is a great strength and the living Vedanta. Sharing immediately connects us with all, makes a feeling of oneness with all. And that is the way we are trading towards the truth. When we feel that we all are one, this oneness, and this small act of love, kindness, little smile, little charity, this all connects, you see. Something happens in Haiti, you suppose. There is a flood or something. And from here, we have never, many of us have not even visited Haiti. But people are suffering there. They need something support. And I have something to share. I can share. I'm not that rich. I can donate $1 million. But I can donate $50 perhaps $10. And that will be a great help for them. what happens with that sharing is you get immediately connected with the people and you feel for their good. Through your prayer goes and you go towards the feeling of oneness, which is living Vedanta. That's why this Vedanta will always say, love all, share with others, share not only your wealth, you can share your experience, you can share your positivity, you can share a smile with everyone that needs. And when we become so strong and sharing and take the role of giving to us, some people need some nice words, inspiring words, some the feeling which is strong in mind and has very positive attitude. Their association, sometimes visiting friends with lot of positive ideas and strength in your mind, the strength of Vedanta in your mind, that gives great strength to the people who are really need that. There are many of our friends need that. Can we share those things to them? If we share with them the things that we have, and we feel and pray for the world, that everyone needs to be happy, that just we are praying. May everyone rejoice everywhere. May everyone be at peace at everywhere. The prayer should come from the heart, and we should try to do that in that direction. When we live for others, that becomes Vedanta. That's why Vedanta, Swami Vivekananda defined in 2 words, Atmano Mokshartham Jagat Hitaya. Doing good to the world and also at the same time trying to have your own realization, attaining your own freedom, freedom from the bondage of ignorance, that is thinking that this world is, this life will be everlasting, this body will be always there, getting attached to this body, how to make it live more and more, how we live 125 years, not 100 years. So those are, after 125 years will be the same thing when we die. That's why Tulsidas said very nicely, you see, when we are born, Kabir Das, when you were born, the whole world was laughing and you were crying. But when you die, the thing should be reversed. That whole world will cry for you and you will be laughing that you have done wonderful life, you lived a great life by the grace of God, and this death is nothing, it's just the change of this body, and I will regain my soul. With that feeling comes the strength and joy and beauty in life. That's what the Vedanta living promises. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Swami Kripa Mahanandaji. This was the energy and the joy that you brought in sharing your thoughts on the subject have really kind of filled this whole hall with it. I'm so very, very grateful for your. Speaking of joy, there's the story that many of you may have heard, and it always comes to my mind, that about in a seminary, the young preachers were being taught, and then their directors told them that when you speak about spiritual lives, when you speak about the joys of heaven, that should show itself in your personality, in your face. Otherwise, how will people believe you that heaven is a joyful place? So show that joy on your face when you're speaking about heaven. When you're speaking about hell, your normal expression would do. And that's so true about Vedanta. When you read the conversations of Sri Ramakrishna in the Gospel of Ramakrishna, you see how often, in parentheses, you have all laugh. And so if your friends and family, when they know that you go to the Vedanta Society and you're always with a long face, they will never feel like coming here. So on the other hand, if we are cheerful, if we are joyful, then it's not only does good to ourselves, that's the way other people will judge not only you, but also the places you go to, the interests you have. And that's why Swami Vivekananda once said, and these are his exact words, by being cheerful always and smiling, it takes you nearer to God, nearer than any prayer. And so I think forcing us to see, being cheerful when already good things are happening, that's easy, that's natural. You don't need any effort. But when things are not good, when things don't look so good, even in that state, if we can force ourselves to be cheerful, that's a practice. And the chances are, if we can try to make make it a habit to be cheerful, then lot of the burdens of life that we carry will become much lighter. They also say that the normal expression that we tend to have more often, that's how the body ages, that's how the wrinkles form. So if you're always cheerful, as the wrinkles form, it'll be a naturally cheerful place as we age. So that's another one added benefit of being cheerful. So thank you again, Maharaj. Next week, next satsang, our subject will be self-reliance versus self-surrender. On Wednesday, we will continue with the study of the Gita at 7:30, and on Tuesday and Saturday, our Aarti and meditation will also continue as usual. So let's conclude with a prayer now on page 3. May the Divine Being, who is the Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Ahura Mazda of the Zoroastrians, the Great Spirit of the Native Americans, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May we be granted strength, freedom, and clear understanding. May we learn to see God in our own hearts and in everyone around us. May God bless us all and fill our hearts with gratitude, grace, and love. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.